Join us on the Boss and the Sauce Show as we take a look at the ACC College Football 2019 preview coming up right now. Right back at you again, the Boss and the Sauce ACC College Football. This one is Louisville Cardinals on this one. Now, Scott Scatterfield, it's his first year coach over here. He's going to be inheriting a nice team this year. He gets 7 on offense, 8 on defense. On offense, he's getting a QB, a running back, 2 wide receivers, a left tackle, and a center. Now, with a tackle and a center, some wide receivers and running backs, you should be able to produce more offense this year. Last year, the offense totaled 352 yards averaging a game, but they gave up 483 yards on defense. Now on defense, they returned 2 D linemen, 3 linebackers, a quarterback, and a safety. I say they should at least be able to pull that 483 that they're giving up yards a game somewhere down to about 400, 410 if they're going to have a good year on this one. Now, an interesting fact about this team is C.T.J. McCoy, a Florida graduate transfer, will fill a major hole for the Cardinals. He started 9 games in 2017 before injuring himself at Florida. He played sparingly last season, but at 6'1", 305, could be a major addition to the Cardinals. So they got a graduate transfer coming over. I thought that you guys want to know that information, and I got that information right here out of Lindsay Sports Magazine. Now, BigRagoo, what is your take on this Louisville team this year?
This is definitely a rebuild mode team with the new coach coming in. He's a 10-year guy, well coached. He was at Appalachian State. We all know what he did there. But if you have to look at the numbers on Louisville, even though they have all these returning starters, I mean, they were not that good last year. Maybe he can squeeze a little more talent out of them this year because they were dead last in the conference in offense and dead last in the conference on defense. They were giving up like you gave the numbers out, so we know what those numbers are. But I mean, there are some bright spots on the team without doubt. They're just going to have to kind of work their way through some things schedule-wise. You know, they start off against your team, Notre Dame, so that's going to be a tough spot for them right out the gate. But there's a lot of upside to the team. The good thing about Louisville is recruiting-wise, in the past, they've always done well getting kids out of Florida. So they're taking these kids that didn't sign with the major universities of Florida, and whenever they match up with these guys, and like they play Florida State every year, that's a game that I always have circled to look out for this team because those are all kids that they played school together, and they got a chip on their shoulder when they play the top recruits versus the two recruits, 2-star, 3-star versus the 4 and 5. So not that they're any less talent, they just didn't show out as far as when the grading. They all play ball together, and it's usually a tough look for them to match up with them on the field. So I think Louisville is going to have some issues, you know, trying to get the product on the field together the first go round. But I look for them to get better as the season goes on.
Y'all heard that from my man BigRagoo. Now, when I was breaking this team down right here and I was going through it, I was totally optimistic with all the tools coming back. I looked into the background of the coach a little bit over at Appalachian State. He looks good, but I do see a lot of flaws there. One is, to me, Appalachian State is a team that takes advantage of a lot of other teams because of the position that they play in, kind of like the Rockies and the Broncos and the NFL. That, you know, they play so high up in the mountains, sometimes they have a slight advantage before the game even starts just on that. So that doesn't mean necessarily that his coaching is as good as it is on paper, but he did do a good job over there. He's over here now at Louisville, and it seemed like this Louisville team just hasn't been able to put it together after Lamar Jackson gone. And when you think about it, Lamar Jackson had a bad year his last year. They were crumbling apart at that point in time. So after a 2-10 season like last year, I really expected them to do a lot better this year. But when you look at the schedule, how do you give this team, and this is mind-boggling in the ACC. You know, I'm a Notre Dame fan, So they always, we ACC on everything but football. But I don't know how. This is probably one of the reasons why we're not, because we take pride in scheduling good teams against us because we want to play the best. Now we went over the Clemson schedule earlier. Now how is the defending champions coming back with a schedule like they got? And these guys went 2-10 last year, and they start off playing Notre Dame. They get a break with Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky. They can play a streaky Florida State at Florida State. Then they play Boston College. Then they got at Wake Forest. Then they got to see Clemson, Virginia, at Miami, at NC State, who's going to be a shocking team this year, and Syracuse. And then they finish at Kentucky. I mean, how do they get to play these tough games? And they should trade schedules easy. It should be an easy call to trade schedules with Clemson on this one. But I don't call for too much more winning out of this. If they get 3 to 4 wins, they'll be doing very good this year in this guy's first year. And let's hope Louisville gets it together in the future. It was fun the one year when Lamar Jackson was running all over the place, and he made a statement over there for the SEC. And even in that year in the SEC, was a lot of other teams that were kind of streaky that year too. You had North Carolina, you had Duke, you had a lot of teams playing up. But ACC is kind of down after last year with teams playing up throughout the whole conference. And this team right here is another team that's going to play down this year. And I'm fading Louisville again. We'll see how far that takes me. Any last words on Louisville, BigRagoo?
Yeah, like I said, they're rebuild mode right now, and that is one heck of a schedule they have to play. I mean, they better have a lot of Band-Aids and first aid kits with them because they're going to need them late in the season. They're going to be beat up. But, I mean, just hopefully they stay healthy, and Satterfield kind of implements his way and gets his recruiting program on track. And good things are on the horizon for Louisville because, like I said, there's a lot of talent from the region that they come out of. And this year is probably not going to be the year for that, but hopefully they can, keep their morale together and compete on the field.
Absolutely. Y'all heard it here, right here on the Boston Sauce. Let's move over to the next team.